Today we'll be talking about descriptive statistic. Well, what is descriptive statistic? It is actually a branch of statistics that involves in collecting, organizing, summarizing, and presenting data in a meaningful way. Well, what it does, it actually helps to provide a clear and concise summary of the key feature of a data set, such as mean, mode, median, coefficient of variation, skewness, and lastly, standard of deviation. So what's the point of using descriptive statistic in a group of students in QMT class? Well, it's actually to compare the target population with the population being studied. It helps to fall extent of data and come up with specific solution and goal. So what's our specific goal? Our specific goal is to find student that needs help in class. And what's the solution of it? We're trying to find ways to improve their marks. So how do we choose our samples? Well, the total population of the student in class is 129 students. So we number the student from 1 until 129, then write them off in a piece of paper, then put them in a hat. Then we randomly choose the number from the hat for 30 times. 30 times equal as 30 samples. This method is called as lottery method. We chose this lottery method because it helps to reduce bias and all the students have chances of being picked. So these are the 30 samples or the 30 students that are luckily being picked for our survey of data.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Aryan Elisa and my ID number is 018. I'll talk about data presentation and preparation. First step, we have to make data tabulation. Number 1, qualitative data, which is stats of 30 students and programs of 30 students in QMT class. Number 2 is quantitative data. First, it is marks of 30 students in Test 1 QMT. We calculate the range, number of classes, and class size. The number of classes is 6 classes and the class size is 1.9. Second, marks of 30 students in the Test 2 QMT. We also calculate the range, number of classes, and class size. The number of classes is 6 class and the class size is 2.2. Last one is overall marks of 30 students in QMT test. The number of classes is 6 classes and the class size is 1.9. Second step is graphical presentation for qualitative variables. We have to present data which is stats and programs of 30 students of QMT class in pie chart and graph bar. And the last step is graphical presentation for quantitative variables. First, we will present the data of 30 students' marks in Test 1, Test 2, and overall marks in histogram, frequency table, and cumulative frequency curve, which is OG. Lastly, we will identify and calculate the mode and median of the data. In Test 1, the mode is 10.4, while the median is 10.31. In Test 2, the mode is 6.57 while the median is 6.81. And for overall marks, the mode is 74.7 and the median is 70.81.
Okay, hi, my name is Nur Azmiza binti Azhar, BDB 020. Okay, I want to present is data analysis and interpretation, mean, mode, and median. Mark of 30 students in Test 1 QMT 2043 class. This table from data preparation. In this table we have number of students, midpoint, and FX. The formula for mean is total FX per X. Total FX is 1059.7 and X is 30. The answer is 35.32. For interpretation on average is the mark obtained by student in test 1 is 35.32. After that, we should find mood. This is mood table. Mood table, we have mark, number of students, midpoint, class boundaries, and cumulative frequency. I highlight some part because I want to use that information to enter in the formula. Formula for mood is L plus bracket F1 minus F0 per 2, F1 minus F0 minus F2 bracket C. The L is lower class boundaries of the model class, C for interval of the model class, and F0 is frequency of the class before the model class, F1 is frequency of the model class, and F2 for frequency of the class after the model class. L is 9.95. To find C, 10.85 minus 9.95 equal, the answer is 0.9. F0 is 3, F1 is 10, F2 is 3. So insert the number in formula and we get 10.4, the answer. Interpretation, most of the students obtain to get 10.4 mark in test 1. Okay, next for medium, the table same mood but add table location. For formula mood, L plus bracket N per 2 minus Fm minus 1 per Fm bracket C. For N is total frequency, Fn minus 1 is frequency before arrival class. Okay, L for medium is 9.95. For C is 10.85. 9.95 equal, the answer is 0.9. N is 30, Fm is 10, Fn minus 1 is 11. So the number we inside the formula and we got 10.31. The interpretation is 15% of students obtain less than 10.31 mark and the other 50% of them obtain more than 10.31 mark in test 1. Okay, for test 2 we use the same formula. For mean, just inside the formula in the number in formula. Test 2, Fx is 250.3 per 13. The answer is 7.11. The interpretation on average, the mark obtained by student in test 2 is 7.11. For mood test 2 is 6.57. The interpretation is most of the student obtain to get 6.57 mark in test 2. For the medium, we got 6.81. The interpretation is 50% of students obtain less than 6.81 mark and the other 50% of them obtain more than 6.81 mark in test 2. For the overall mark of 13 students in QMT 2043 class, mean is 389.45. The interpretation on average, the mark obtained by student in overall test is 389.45. For the mode, we get 87.45. The interpretation mode of the student obtained to get 87.45 mark in overall mark. The median in overall mark is 17.81. The interpretation is 50% of students obtain less than 17.81 mark, and the other 50% of them obtain more than 17.81 mark in overall mark. For standard deviation mark of 30 students in test 1 QMT 2043 class, the formula for standard deviation is S square equal total fx square per n minus fx square per n square. So for fx, we got 304.8. For fx square, we got 5358.24. So the total, we insert the formula, that formula, and we got S. The answer S is 23.92. About 68% of the data line in the interval mean minus S less than X less than mean plus S. So mean is 35.32. The S is 33.92. So we got 11.4 less than X less than 59.24. Interpretation, 98% of students obtain 11.4 to 59.24 mark in test 1. For standard deviation test 2 is fx is 213.3 and fx square 1876.18. So we just insert to the formula, and we got mean 7.11 and S is 3.46, and for about 68% of the data line in the interval 7.11 minus 3.46 less than X less than 7.11 plus 3.46. So the answer is 3.65 less than X less than 10.57. Interpretation about 68% of the student in QMT 2043 class obtain between 3.65 to 10.57 mark in test 2. Standard deviation for overall mark of 30 students in QMT 2043 class. The formula sum with test 1 and test 2 like that. We got S, the answer S for overall mark is 263.86. So about 68% of the data line in the interval is 389.445 minus 263.86 less than x less than 30 less than 3 89.45 plus 263.86. So the answer is 125.59 less than x less than 653.31. The interpretation 9. The interpretation 70. The interpretation is 78% of students obtain 125.59 to 653.31 mark in overall test. This is official of variance for test 1. CV equal S per mean multiply 100. We got S and mean from standard deviation. So the answer is 67.72%. For test 2 CV, we got the answer is 48.66%. And the overall mark for CV is 7.75%. Interpretation for CV is test 1 has a CV of 97.72%. Test 2 has a CV of 48.88%, and on overall mark has a CV of 67.75%. I would say test 1 has more variation relative to its mean.
My name is Nur Alia binti Syaful Mizam and my ID is BDB041. So now my point is squeeness. First, I'm gonna talk about test 1. And now you can see here that the total we have count for the table mark of 13 students in test 1 QMT. First, we're gonna find the mean, mode, and median. First, we got mean. The total is 35.32. Second, mode is 10.4, and the last medium 10.31. To determine the shape of the graph, we use the formula that has been given. The formula is PSK equal to 3, open the bracket. X means mean, subtraction median, close the bracket, and per or deviation S. S mean the total of student. So we calculate, we got 3 multiplication 35.32 subtraction 10.31 per 30. So total we got from PSK is 2.52. So the total is maybe mean PSK bigger than 0. The graph is positively skewed because the skew to the right. If the mean the greater than the mode, the description is positive skew. So now this is the graph we got. This is the graph we got is positive skew. Then for test 2 is the same way that we're gonna find the total mean, mode, and median. Mean we got 7.11, mode we got 6.57, and medium 6.81. The same formula, we're gonna find PSK for the graph. 3 multiplication 7.11 subtraction 6.81 per 13. So total we calculate got 0.03. Means PSK bigger than 0. The graph same like the one skew to the right greater than the mode, the disruption is positively skewed. So number 3, the last is overall marks. We find mean, mode and median. Mean we got 389.45, mode we got 87.45, median we got 70.81. The same formula, we calculate 3 multiplication 389.45 subtraction 17.81 per 13. So the total PSK we calculate got 31.864. So the total of PSK is bigger than 0 and the graph is positive skew. So that's all for me. Conclusion. Based on data analysis, it seems the class did well on the test with an average score of 389.45. The median score was 74.5 and the standard deviation was 263.86. Next, the high median score indicates that the majority of students did well on the test. The standard deviation of 10.81 suggests that the score will not tightly cluster around the average, but rather a number of students score significantly higher or lower than the average, or the conclusion have their own formula and rely on frequency table each test. Recommendation. Based on data analysis, it seems that the majority of students did well on the test, but there were some who scored significantly lower. It may be worth reviewing the material with the student to ensure they understand the concepts. Additionally, the teacher may want to consider adjust the difficulty of future tests to better reflect the level of understanding of the class.